This is Optimal Living Daily, episode 494. How can I be as unhappy as possible? By James Altucher of jamesaltucher.com, and I'm Justin Malik. Welcome to the OLD podcast, the podcast where I get permission from authors of some of the best blogs on the planet and read them to you, all for free. Lately, that's been made possible by a couple of sponsors and also your help. Both have been crucial in keeping this podcast going, so thank you. And today I thank FreshBooks for helping all of us. FreshBooks is a cloud accounting company, which in other words lets you invoice people, you can track all of your expenses and more, and you can try out all of their features for free for a month without entering a credit card. Just come by freshbooks.com/living and enter Optimal Living Daily in the How Did You Hear About Us section. It's been a while since I've read a post from James Altucher here on this show, so let's get right to it and start optimizing your life. How can I be as unhappy as possible? By James Altucher of jamesaltucher.com. I was happy when I sold my first company and made money. I was happy when I met my first wife. I loved her, and on that first kiss, I remember how much she was shaking because she was nervous, and so was I. She wouldn't kiss me until date 5. Too fast, she said, when I made my move on date 3. But I was unhappy when I lost all the money I made on the first company. I was unhappy when I got separated 10 years after that first kiss. Tom Shadyac, the director of billions of dollars worth of movies, had a bike accident and injured his brain. His head hurt him so much for a year he could barely move. When he started to get active again, he gave away most of his money and moved into a trailer park, albeit a nice one, but still. I called him up to ask him what happened. He was nice enough to tell me. He said, "The word happy comes from the word happenstance, which means something outside of yourself." He said, "I wanted my happiness to come from something inside of myself. Nothing outside was going to make me happy." It was around then I made some conscious decisions in my own life. I had been very unhappy to the point of suicide. I think I am second or third result on Google if you search "I want to die." Unhappy to the point of wondering how was it even possible some people had enough muscles in their mouth to smile. Mostly because I was always stressed about money. I thought if I had no money, then I would disappear, and I was always anxious about people I was dealing with. Why would they treat me this way? I'd run conversations over and over and over in my head, a horror cinema on repeat. Some people are not such nice people, but you feel you have to deal with them for various reasons. Maybe because of money reasons, or maybe out of fear of some sort, or maybe because you are a good person. Focusing on life happiness is too hard. That is the key to unhappiness. I just focus on, am I feeling well-being today? Competence. The more competent I am at the things I do, the better I feel about what I am doing here on this planet. It doesn't mean I have a purpose. My purpose can change every day. I just want to get more competent at something, anything. What my purpose will be a month from now, a year from now, whenever, is a total mystery. There is no real purpose. Competence simply means I am improving at something, maybe being a better writer or business person or friend or idea person or parent or whatever. Picture that for yourself right now. Doesn't it feel a little good? Right in the chest. Relationships. I had a girlfriend once who kept saying, "How come you never introduced me to your friends?" And I would try to say, "But I did." I don't have many friends, but that's okay. The people I am friends with, I am very good friends with. I'd do anything for them. And I do things for them every day. I am constantly trying to think of how to improve my relationships with the people I love, friends, children, even business relationships. And although I don't want to be selfish, I also have to make sure I spend more time with people I love than people who are not so good for me. One time someone said to me, "I have all these great ideas, but on Friday night, I hang out with my friends and they laugh at me." I said, "Stay home on Friday night." I never heard from him again. This is perhaps the most important thing in my life. Freedom. People think money is freedom. This is not true, but it's a cliche to say that. Money is pretty good, but only if you use it very little, in my opinion, not necessarily anyone else's. Last April, I threw out everything in my life except 3 outfits, a computer, an iPad, and a phone, and 2 bags to carry them in. I live in Airbnbs that are furnished. I'm living in one right now on Prince Street. Stop by and say hi. I'm able to do this because I make money thanks to my competence and relationships built up over 25 years. I work hard. But in general, I always kept my belongings to a minimum, except looking back when I was most unhappy. This is what freedom is. Throughout a day, we get to make thousands of choices. The more choices I can make for myself, the more freedom I have. The more choices other people make for me, the less freedom I have. A corporation might make a choice for me, or a government, or a parent, or a boss, or a colleague, or someone manipulating you, and so on. Nobody is 100% free of outside choices. That's impossible. I don't look at what percent I am at. I just look at direction. Every day, I want to make more choices for me and follow less the choices of others. If I'm not choosing myself, then someone else is, and the results won't be good for me. How do I make sure I'm constantly able to improve competence, relationships, freedom? Purpose is BS. Purpose is simply a byproduct of your own well-being. But to make sure I'm always moving forward in well-being, I have to make sure I am physically healthy, surround myself with good, decent people, creative every day, grateful every day. Bad things happen all of the time. The world is out of our control. But I've slowly noticed that I bounce back faster, that failures become learning opportunities, that people are basically damaged but good, that our lives are made up of stories, and so creativity is the child of every moment, that a shaken kiss can sometimes melt into love. You just listened to the post titled, How Can I Be As Unhappy as Possible? By James Altucher of jamesaltucher.com. Once again, please join me in thanking FreshBooks for helping to keep this podcast alive for both you and me. I use FreshBooks. My favorite tool of theirs is expense tracking because that's something I've been doing for over 7 years for personal expenses and business expenses. And their solution is much, much better than mine. I love that it's portable. The FreshBooks app lets you enter expenses on the go and take pictures of your receipts so you don't have to worry about carrying and losing them. It's a great way to keep organized. And then it connects to your account on the web, so if you're at home, you can enter expenses on a computer too. There are also reports, and it's all super easy to categorize and very intuitive. You can figure it all out without any instructions. That's just one tool that FreshBooks offers. Try them all out for free without entering a credit card, so no worries there. Just come by freshbooks.com/living to try it. And when they ask you, how'd you hear about us? Enter in Optimal Living Daily. That's it for today. I'll be back tomorrow with a post from Joshua Becker of Becoming Minimalist for episode 495. Dang. Also a pretty big announcement. That's all I'm going to say about that for now. So stay tuned for that tomorrow, where your optimal life awaits.
Hey, this is Dan from the Optimal Finance Daily podcast, which is a lot like this show, except more focused on personal finance. Justin handpicks the best posts he can find from blogs and authors like Ramit Sethi, Mr. Money Mustache, and more, and I read them to you 5 days a week. So if you enjoy this podcast, come on over and subscribe to Optimal Finance Daily too. And together, we'll optimize your financial life.
You've been listening to Optimal Living Daily. Be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date on each new episode and head to oldpodcast.com. That's OLDpodcast.com for a free gift as well as more actionable tips and resources to help you maximize your potential. Thanks for joining us, and remember, your optimal life awaits.